Welcome back to Studio Chatter. There is a lot of misinformation about what choices people have in the end stage of life. And to help us break down the myths, let's welcome Melissa Dexter and Chantel Rhodes from Maple Cream Home Health and Hospice to the table. That's kind of a mouthful, isn't it?
It kind of is.
Welcome, ladies.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So introduce yourselves a little bit and how you became connected with the business.
I am Melissa. I'm the administrator, and I'm actually connected. My mom opened Maple Creek, so she did.
Okay.
So I've been working for her. She's retired now, but now I'm running it.
How many years have you been there?
10 years, and it's been there for 11.
11. So almost from the beginning you've been
Yes,
there with
pretty
it.
much. Yep, pretty much.
Oh, how neat.
Yep.
And then,
And I'm Chantel, and I'm relatively new to Maple Creek, but I've grown up with extra grandparents all over the neighborhoods. It was kind of my mom's thing. So I remember like one of my earliest memories is taking out the trash for one of our elderly neighbors. I don't even think it was garbage day, but little kids don't know that.
Yes.
So yeah, we just always had lots of extra grandparents, and they would pass, and it was just a routine. It was kind of normal for us, and so I didn't realize that it's not something everybody deals with on a regular basis.
Well, I think you two must be pretty special, because that's a very difficult time in life for that person going through it, but also for all of the family, right?
It is, but it's an honor to be able to
Right.
go in there and help them come in, make a difference, you know, make
so
sure they know what to
explain- yes.
expect.
Explain a little bit to us. When my mother passed, we had a lot of people saying, you know, reach out to hospice, you need to get her on hospice. All of us were really hesitant because we thought, oh, we're determining her life end. Like they'll put her on meds and she'll be gone. That is a myth, we found out.
Yes.
And our hospice people were our angels here on earth. So explain the process,
So,
or what their options are.
So hospice is really for if you decide that you no longer want to seek curative treatment and you have a terminal illness, a disease, and you know sometimes with aging you just start declining, you know, things just start changing. There is not necessarily a
You don't have to have a specific
Yes,
diagnosis.
yes.
It can just be elderly decline.
Yeah.
You're just
Right.
starting to lose kind of things.
It's
Or
not
like a
like you
time
have 3
frame,
weeks
like,
left.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Right.
You're just
Yes.
declining, you're not feeling your tip-top self, and so...
Yeah. You're noticing those
But you're
big
knowing
changes
that you're
happening.
Yeah, if
Okay.
mom is falling a lot, you're going to the hospital more, you know,
Okay.
UTIs, things like that.
That's good to
Probably a
know.
good time to call just to see, because we can come in, we can keep you from going to the ER. Those visits get really difficult,
Okay.
you know, as time goes on. And we can come in and do an assessment and
Okay.
just see. There doesn't have to be a certain disease
Right.
to qualify.
And there's no commitment, you know, if you have someone come out to just evaluate the situation,
Right.
it's not, okay, we're giving mom a death sentence now. Like, it's nothing like that. It's
Okay.
just a, hey, you know, let's check in and see what your goals are, what your priorities
Okay.
are, and
what care could possibly look
Exactly.
like at what level, right?
right, exactly what your options are, because I think people often aren't aware of all the options. When you're seeking curative care, they pretty much present all the curative options, and often hospice gets overlooked. But I mean, let's say you're 80 and you get diagnosed with stage 4 cancer or something that, you know, is going to take really aggressive treatment. I mean, sometimes the treatment is really worse than the disease at that
Right.
point.
I
And
know
if
with my mother when we were in the hospital when they had found her cancer, and it was everywhere, and they kind of told us that she had maybe months. So we decided we'll take her home. We can do this. We've got this on our own.
Yes.
You know, she didn't want to fight it at that point. She knew it was going to be terminal, but we just thought we've got this as family. We can do this. We got to that point where we're like, we're out of our league. Like, how do we best care for mom and keep her out of pain, but bless like the end of her life? And that is where hospice came in for us. Just clutch. Just reassuring us and guiding us. And you're going to be looking for this. Next week or in the next coming weeks, you're going to be seeing this.
education is a
Yes.
huge part of it, to support the caregivers, the whole family. And it's not just during that decline period, but even a year afterwards, that bereavement period also, we're still there to support the family.
Okay. So I've never, well, I mean, I had a short little stint with a hospice worker for like a week, but what if someone just comes in, are they there all day? Are they there just for an hour? Like, What does it look like?
About an hour. So
Okay.
usually your nurses come in for about an hour, and then the aides will come in and help with bathing,
Okay.
you know, the getting dressed, things like that.
Okay, but
then-
someone else there, a family member or neighbor, friend, has to be there to help maybe administer?
Not necessarily. Some people
medication.
don't have family members or
That's true.
caregivers.
Okay.
So it looks like whatever it looks like for you. We meet people
Wow.
where they are.
Very
And
customized.
exactly. We kind of assess the situation as it is to see what the need is. If you maybe don't have caregivers or family close by, or you're not close to your neighbors, we look at that, and we have social work, you know, that kind of
Okay.
marshals the community resources that are available to see what might be a good fit, from transportation to the actual medical.
Where again,
kind of
that's
care.
where the education is coming in, where
Exactly.
you're letting this person know there's all this list of help that you have access to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they'll help pick your funeral planning. So your funeral homes,
Okay.
make sure that you're prepared. You get your
Okay.
advance directives. You know, go over the DNR, whether they want to be resuscitated or
I
not
do
as
remember
well.
that.
So
the paperwork and the things that you are not
that you
really
don't think
thinking
about.
or that you don't want to.
Yes.
But then at that moment, you want that to be already
Yeah,
taken
you
care
want
of
it
and
done.
planned. Which, yeah, we appreciate that too. And I
Right.
remember with our hospice nurse, when my mom, it was within a few days, and he had kind of told us, and we thought she was passing. We really thought that it was happening that night. We called him. He came up and drove like miles and miles to be with us, to help us. She ended up not passing, and he was the kindest soul. He just was there with us, like on and off for 3 days. Just a blessed person. So what you guys do is just, it's truly angels on earth.
Super special.
Yep.
So what does your staff look like? I mean, we've mentioned nurses, we've talked maybe social, some, like, what's it made up of? What kind of folks do you have helping you out?
So we have the nurses, the aides, like you mentioned, chaplains, which are there for spiritual support.
Okay.
Our social workers, we have a dietitian on staff. You know, if you have any nutrition questions, concerns about what they're eating, whether they're eating enough, we have a medical director as well. So that's
Okay.
our team, and volunteers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, volunteers can fill in all kinds of gaps from, you know, you want a special manicure to, you know, do you need some yard work done to any of those kind of non-clinical. I mean, they can even do clinical if they're qualified, but,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of that volunteer stuff is companionship, helping put together, you know, your personal documents, or just a variety of
Yeah.
things. It could be anything.
I remember Paul Christensen was
Oh.
such a big volunteer after you guys
Yes,
were
he
right
was.
by his side with the passing of his wife. He was such a big advocate for Maple Creek.
He was amazing.
And I mean, what a sweet, sweet, kind soul.
He was. If I could be half the person
I know,
Paul
I
was,
agree.
oh my word.
I agree. That man was just amazing.
Yes, he was, and we miss him terribly.
Yeah.
So
He was
yeah,
one of the
he
great
did
ones.
so much for us. We were so fortunate.
So if people are looking for volunteer opportunities to help in that way, is it posted somewhere or online? Could they?
They can
Fill
come. They
out.
can just contact us.
Okay.
It's a lot like the hiring process,
Okay.
because we do have to make sure that there's background
Sure,
checks. I mean, especially if they're going to be in people's homes.
Right.
But they can even do office work. You know, they can help out if hands-on people care is not their thing, but they do want to be a part of it.
Okay.
They can help even with projects to assemble little bereavement packages, or I mean, you know, it's really just limited by imagination.
Okay.
And yard work.
Yeah.
Paul was so good at that.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
we need the
Taking
help.
care of your yard work or
Yes. Well, the offices.
All
He
right,
did
all
trim
right.
some
The
bushes for me a few times.
Yes, but we do have patients who can't do
But
their
yeah.
own, you
I
know,
bet.
and
That's
that's
why I thought
a
I'd better
significant thing.
clarify.
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thanks for being such a great staple for the last 10
Yes.
plus years here in Spanish Fork.
Thank you.
You guys are
It's
a great
brilliant.
asset.
Yep.
Gosh, and
We
educating
love this
us.
community.
That's always so
Yes.
important. Thanks so much. There's more studio chatter coming up.